Hey guys, join me as I drive to El Paso, Texas in this beauty. It's been a while since I posted material on this car, and today I want to take this opportunity to have you experience with me what it's like to drive this thing from California to Texas in a single shot and back in 4 days. I've done this trip many times, both in this car and the many other cars that I've had throughout the years since I started posting material on YouTube. I wouldn't do it in any other vehicle, mainly because my other two cars are down. So this is my Warrior, the one that hasn't let me down in shy of 30,000 miles that I've had it in about close to 2 years. As you can see, it looks pretty clean, right? And my companionship for this trip today is gonna be this doggy right here. Lolita, if you have followed my channel long enough, you should remember that I used to have another dog. Her name was Coco, and she passed away sadly almost a year ago today, actually. As far as the mechanical condition of this car, everything is doing really good, except for lately, the actuator on this door for the door lock gave up. And from what I read online, it's a common issue. So now I have to be really careful, because if you have this car, you should know that this car has automatic lights. So if the car doesn't lock properly, the lights may stay on, and then it may appear like you locked the car, but once you walk away, the car will unlock itself. So what I do now is I manually turn on the lights, turn them off as well. And I can lock it with the power locks, but I have to go and make sure that I lock that driver door manually. So let's go to Costco, let's fuel up, and let's get on the road. Oh, and one more thing is this car is so low on maintenance. I just changed the oil the other day. So today I just checked the level of the oils. I kicked the tires. They seem to be fine. These tires have been in this car almost since I bought it, and they still have plenty of tread left. About 25,000 miles on these tires. I think I got them maybe a couple of months or maybe a few weeks after I bought the car. And they're holding up really well. Not a single rotation, because I am that type of owner that doesn't do the proper tire rotations. I just ride them in a single direction until I'm ready to replace them. The brakes, remember the brakes, I did them as well right at the beginning of my ownership. So they should be fine. They look great. So let's get on the road. Remember, I bought this car with 91,000 miles, and it's April of 2026. So it's about 3 months shy of the 2-year mark, and I have already put nearly 30,000 miles. So this trip, this 4-day trip, is gonna give me that. It's gonna break the 30,000 mile mark since I bought the car. So it's gonna be at over 120. And for a properly maintained Lexus, it's nothing. Just the fact that it's such an old car, and I'm able to trust it with my life and the life of my loved ones, should tell you a lot. You see that red light over there? And that's where I turn right to get into Costco. So there's at least 40 cars ahead of me. My wife is flying there and I'm driving. And I think she paid like $300 to fly on American Airlines. But with these gas prices, I wonder how much I'm gonna spend. I'll do the numbers and I'll put them at the end of the video to tell you whether I saved or not versus flying. Okay, we finally made it. It's about a 10-minute wait. Definitely worth the wait. Let's confirm that looking at the price of gas. Right now, holy moly, $5.29 for regular, $5.69 for premium. I just got on the road, and it says that I'm 10 hours and 17 minutes away, but that's obviously without any stops to the bathroom, to have Lolita rest a little bit. It's about 2 in the afternoon, and I think it's a 1 hour difference. So I should be there at around, 1 in the morning, maybe 2 in the morning, not that bad. And as you can see, even though this car doesn't have any navigation system or anything, I can make it work with just my phone. Nothing fancy. And just like that, we made it to Arizona. The first big town in Arizona is Yuma. And I usually stop here for gas. And I've driven 165, 66 miles since my first stop in Costco to gas up, and we're gonna stop here and gas up. My doggy only lasted maybe like the first 20 minutes, and then she just wanted to get on my lap. So we're gonna stop for gas, and I'm gonna say that it's probably gonna be about $1 cheaper than in California. It says $4.59, but I'm sure premium is gonna be more expensive, but it's still manageable. Still gonna be about $1 cheaper than a Costco, which it is supposed to be a little cheaper than average. $5.29, not a lot cheaper.
What can I get for you?
Strawberry lemonade, please.
Anything else I can get for you?
The spinach, feta, and egg white wrap, please. Thank you. Yeah, it does get tricky when you travel with the dog because I have to stop at Starbucks, and I could have done it, just pull over the side of the road, stretch my legs, but I don't want to leave my dog unattended while I'm inside. So I just got this snack right here, and then I'm gonna go find a rest area and then do a proper walk for my dog. I cannot complain too much. I just put the cruise control. I'm doing about 75 miles an hour. I don't have any lane keeping assist. It's not gonna buzz if I go over that line right there or that line right there. It's not gonna warn me. So I gotta be fully aware, but I'm so used to it because maybe it's gonna be my first year since I sold that Genesis. So it's April of 2026 and we sold that Genesis in April of 2025. So for the last past year, all I drive at home is old cars. So I'm already used to not getting these alerts if I'm getting out of the lane or anything like that. It's just so analog and lovely. I have the minimum amount of amenities to include this perfect AC that is on auto right now. As you can see, it says 92 degrees and it's supposed to be kept at 70 in here. And it's pretty cool. And because it's already 521, it's not gonna get warmer from here. If anything, it's gonna get a little cooler. But I did stop at the gas station to get ice and water just in case I get stranded and I need, to wait for a tow truck in the middle of nowhere. But other than that, this is a great engine. It's a great car. I have no doubt in my mind that this car will make it safely to El Paso to deliver this beauty to my wife. Lolita is just trying to find her spot in this bed. And I'm taking a break because all she wanted to do is be on my lap. Because this car doesn't give me enough to talk about. How about I give you an update on my other two cars? Because remember, I have three cars. This 2003 Lexus GS300. Then I have my lovely 1989 BMW E30, the 325i, that I love that car. And then I also have that other mysterious SUV that I've never driven because as soon as I bought it back in July, I think, of last year, I took it straight to Hemet to get it repaired, and it's been there since, it's gonna be 6-7 months. It's a combination of things, miscommunication. I switched jobs, I left the vacation, but the mechanic did contact me today and told me that it is ready. I'm gonna pick up a hefty tab on that car, but I can't wait to get it back because coming back to this car, I need to replace the gasket of the oil pan because it's got a minor leak. And it's had it since I bought it. And I just want this car to drive perfectly. Now, the BMW, that's a different story. I've had the same mechanic for 12 years in that car, and he's always done a very good job at repairing anything that's like preventative maintenance. And a couple of times that he's done like a major overhaul of the engine. But now I took it for an issue with the vehicle stalling like the middle of the highway for like a nanosecond. And then sometimes I come to a complete stop and it has a hard time staying at idle, though. It dies. And I just want the vehicle to run as good as it looks. And he's had it for a long time. We are about 30 minutes east of Yuma. Our next big town or city is Tucson. And my doggy is stretching her legs. I needed to walk a little bit too. As some of you know, I've been eyeballing what my next cool car is going to be. And it seems like I'm gonna steer clear from new cars. I think my next car won't be a new car either, just based on this interaction. But I always wanted to have that cool Porsche, older of course. But when I read about it, when I see videos about the nature of the flat six engine and how prone it is to bore scoring and IMS failure, especially for the generation that I want, the 997. So at this point, should I buy a problem? Or should I just wait, save more money, and then look into maybe like an LC 500, which is an old man's car, I know, but I'm old. Every time I step out of the brand, it seems like I get a rude awakening with the reality of modern cars that are not as reliable as Toyotas and Lexus. So look at this beautiful, reliable car. Let's get back on the road. This is Cortado Road. It's gonna be a quick stop. Maybe feed my dog here, my companionship. Yeah, gas is pretty expensive, $5.35. I misread that thing. Well, there's an 60 cent difference between regular and Supreme. Cheer. She's like, oh, where's my lap? Where's my lap? Sorry, lady, you're gonna have to wait. 9 or 10 gallons, so it's gonna be another 50 bucks. What do you guys think, guys? Would it have been cheaper to just fly? I guess we'll find out. This is my extra lumbar support. It has some, but I still need a little bit of help. So I put this on my lower back and it helps a little bit. Let's see, we drove 223 miles for 9.19 gallons. What is that? Let's do the math. 223.8 divided by 9.19 gallons. Yep, slightly over 24 miles. Not bad. Oh, that's kind of close to that Tesla. Remember, I don't have any collision warning or anything. Let's see what's in here. Ooh, delicious. This is my exit. I just got off the freeway. It's about exactly 12 hours since I left San Diego. And the GPS said it was going to be 10 and a half hours. So I wasted about an hour and a half in the various stops. I only gassed up twice, one in Yuma and one in Tucson. And I still have maybe fuel for another, what do we say? Maybe 120 miles. So I driven 315 miles with this last fill up. And overall, it's been 707 miles since I left home. Great run. Lolita can't wait to get home. She hasn't drank any water. She ate a little bit, but she just won't drink any water. This is as far as I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna get home and my wife is gonna be asleep. She's gonna open the door for me. I'll see you on the way back. Good night. All good things come to an end. It's 7:09 in California, 8:09 here in Texas. Supposed to get there at 5:13 in the afternoon. Probably had 2 hours for all the times that I stopped. And as you see, the mileage on this beauty just passed 120,000 mark. So let's get on the road, have a good time, maybe stop for some coffee, maybe a snack. I didn't have breakfast. Let's drive on. There's 700 miles between now and by the time I drive into my driveway, it's going to be closing into the 121,000 miles. And I'm proud of this car. I'm proud of my choice that I made about 2 years. It was not even a gamble. I knew that I was going to have this sort of experience. I've done all the maintenance that I can do on this vehicle, which is pretty basic. And what I love about it is that I don't need to schedule an appointment at a dealership. I don't need to wait for an appointment. On my day off, I just take it to the local shop and they do an oil change with fully synthetic for about $120, $130. Then they take care of it. A couple of hours, they call me and I just walk and pick it up. A lot of these cars have not been maintained, and some have, but you can tell when people have started to neglect it. Maybe they bought a newer car and they started parking this on the driveway, so you start seeing all the sun damage and all that. And it's not the case of this one. When I wash it, it looks very, very clean. And at first I did not love the look of the wheels because it was a little bit too monochromatic for me, but it has grown on me. I like the look, and the overall interior condition makes for a very good experience every time I get into these longer trips. Still solid, not too many rattles. Some of them are self-inflicted because of my wheel and tire choice. But as you can see, we're getting ready to have a very good time, me and Lolita, for the next 10, 11, 12 hours. Time to stop to let my dog stretch her legs a little bit because we've been on the road for about 3 hours. I remember when I used to do this drive in my Tesla, and it was not a lot of fun. So yesterday I filled up the tank. It's about maybe a 20-gallon tank, and I was able to get about 400 miles worth of range. I mean, I could go further. There's another exit that I can use to gas up, It's also as convenient, but it doesn't have the eating options that I have here. Oh, and I wanted to show you this drive, which is one of my favorites. I think it's called Dome Valley, which sounds straight out of a Mad Max movie, or either the town I just passed is Dome Valley, or these upcoming mountains are Dome Valley. But nevertheless, it's a super cool drive that I wish I had the right transmission to drive through it, because it's got some curves and stuff like that. We're only about 19 miles east of Yuma, and about, I would say, maybe 5 miles from Mexico. So this is a very cool set of mountains that I get to drive every time I go to El Paso. And it's about maybe, 3 or 4 miles. And I wish I had my BMW, because that one has a manual transmission, it's lowered, has the right suspension. So it drives pretty cool through this. I've done this in this car, and it's got paddle shifters, but this transmission is so sluggish that it sucks all the fun out of it. But it is a cool scenery. For those of you that follow me from other places in the world, California is a combination of desert, high desert, mountains, obviously coastal. Then in Arizona, it's mostly desert. There's a lot of agricultural lands around here. So yeah, pretty unique landscape. Once we pass this, we start dropping into Yuma. So this set of mountains has some elevation, and then you come down to maybe called the Imperial Valley. I don't know if Yuma is part of it, but I know that on the California side, that's the Imperial Valley. It extends all the way to the west side of El Centro, maybe 30, 40 miles from El Centro, and then you start going uphill and then over the mountains again to get to the San Diego area, going over Alpine and Campo, Jacamba. After this, we go through Yuma, and then there's a desert, pretty cool desert as well, with some pretty unique sand dunes. So it is 4:06 in California. I think here in Arizona it's still 5:06, I think. And Lolita can't wait to get home so that she can relax. She goes through a cycle. Sometimes she wants to be on my lap, and then sometimes she goes back to her little bed. I have 222 miles driven, and I have half a tank. I have about maybe 200 miles to go, so I'm sure I have another 200 miles on this tank, but I'm just gonna fill up because it's cheaper to do it here, and probably a ride home with maybe half a tank of gas, and then I'll fill up and I'll give you total numbers. I filled with in Tucson with 86 bucks. So at this trajectory, I would say that I'm gonna spend way over $300 that would have taken me to fly to El Paso, but keep in mind that I would have a ride in El Paso without a car to drive around. So I had the benefit of the car. All in all, if I spent, let's say, $100 more driving, well, I brought a car with me, so I didn't have to pay for Uber or bug family. Let's gas up right here, and I probably won't get back with you just because I just want to concentrate on driving. Bye, Lolita. Say bye to the fans. Getting home 12 hours later. My round trip was 1,570 miles, and believe it or not, my wife's plane lands at 7:50. So I'm just on my way to drop off my doggy and then drive myself to the airport to pick up my lovely wife. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. My wife paid $318 for the flight. And this is the math I put together, but it only accounts for the money spent on gas. I omitted food and snack expenses just as I omitted the Uber you paid to get to the airport. And of course, we must consider that I had a car to drive around while I was in El Paso. $361, a little high because I refilled the tank the next day. And by then, I had already driven the car around maybe another 40 miles. So at that, I was still closer to $350, which is still over $30 more than she paid to fly.